And Tim Sterling, and we are back for the 2019 football campaign of your North Mahaska Warhawks. Thank you for tuning in live tonight on this beautiful Friday as we have traveled all the way up Highway 63 to Trayer, as the Warhawks of North Mahaska will be taking on the Red Hawks of North Tama in the opening game of the 2019 football season. Tim, I know that the teams are lining up to take the field now. Kickoff is about to be set. Do you have any kind of opening thoughts on the Warhawks and maybe what we can, kind of expect to see this game?
I'm not really sure. We're going back to some old school style coaching, so I feel like things might be a little bit different than last year, but it's hard telling. I mean, I expect them to be a run heavy team because that's smack in the mouth football like Warhawk football usually is, but we'll see.
And that opening kickoff will make its way down inside the 10-yard line, and it will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So North Mahaska will take over on the 20-yard line.
That was a boomer.
That was Boomer Sooner. So last year we saw a very dynamic duo in the sophomore standouts, Dylan Klinker and Blake Reedshaw. But now, Tim, they're stepping up their juniors this year, still in their respective quarterback and wide receiver positions. How do you expect to see Dylan and Blake kind of perform this season?
Well, I do have to add that Blake seems to be.
Yes, he's on the sideline. He's on the sideline tonight, so it looks like it'll be Dylan Klinker, and he will run back, and he is scrolling to his right, and he gets rid of the ball, and he hits his receiver, Sam Terpstra, for about a 9-yard gain. So Dylan Klinker took the snap, scrolled back, going to the right side of the field, feeling a heavy amount of pressure, and right before he was about to be brought down, he was able to get that ball off and hit his receiver, Sam Terpstra, just over the middle for a cozy 9-yard gain. So that officially starts the clock in this one. It is 11:35 to go in the first quarter, and North Mahaska already off to a pretty good start, facing a 2nd-and-1 situation. Dylan Klinker again lines up under center in the I formation. Oh, he drops the snap. Dylan Klinker looks like he got a little too antsy there, excited to hand it off to his tailback, but was unable to secure the ball on that snap.
Hopefully that doesn't recur, because I know last season we had quite the issue with that. Some games even having 6 to 7 fumbles. Even on the same drive, there was multiple in a row, so hopefully they can.
Yes,
that's just a fluke type deal.
Kind of a big bruise last year for North Mahaska was the snaps. Having a hard time, whether it's in the I formation or the shotgun, just being a little bit inconsistent on how they could get those down. But when they did, they were able to create quite a bit of momentum as they tried to hand off there, running right up the gut, but the running back was stood up in the backfield, and that'll be a loss of about 1 yard on the play. So North Mahaska, although they had a great first down attempt, they're now facing 4th and 3, just inside 10.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. North Mahaska lines up on the 27-yard line. So 4th down, 3 yards. I think this early in the game, what will North Mahaska do? They will elect to punt.
Very smart decision.
So it looks like Sean Knockle, the true freshman for North Mahaska, gets it up, and it looks like that one is blocked. That'll be blocked, and it'll get a little bit of a bounce there, and it'll roll all the way up to the 45-yard line. So North Tama will take over on the North Mahaska 45 with 9:54 to go in this first quarter.
Hopefully that's just another fluke issue. That was very. I mean, you don't want to see that happen, but. Those got to roll with it.
I know North Mahaska probably facing a lot of anticipation and a lot of excitement leading up to this game. Definitely not the opening drive that you want to have, but North Mahaska, although they faced kind of a lot of unfortunate circumstances last year in games where they easily could have hung their head, they kept their chins up and they were able to still create some type of traction as the game went on. As the quarterback there, that'll be the number 3 of Skylar Stacker, completes a nice little short pass to his receiver of Gabe Kopriva for a nice 8-yard gain. So North Tama kind of imitating the North Mahaska start to the game, already off to a nice completed pass. Good hesitation on that quarterback, really just let the pace of the game come to him on that play there. So North Tama taking over on the North Mahaska 37, 2nd and 2, 9:20 to go in this first quarter, as he takes the snap and he hands it off to his running back. That is the number 23 of Noah Weber. Tries
by the Warhawks there.
Yeah, tries to do a little bit of dancing there, but was unable to make his way past the gobble of Warhawks that was there. So that'll be a gain of about nothing on the play. 3rd and 2 situation. And I think, Tim, we just have to notice really quick here, last year our streams were audio only, but this year, thanks to KIIC and the hustle by their team, we also have video coverage now too, so you can see all the action that is going on instead of just hearing it. But the quarterback, Skylar Stacker, does a little QB keep action, sneaks his way to the right, and that'll be just enough for a first down. So North Tama already off to a pretty good start here, creating a fresh set of downs for the Red Hawks.
Yeah, it's a good thing we got video on here, because then now they can really grade on how you're calling the game and how we see things, and see if we're full of it or if we're actually doing a good job.
Yeah, are we truthful announcers, or are we just making something up? Well, I guess
I like to say good job, but
so Stacker will again take the snap, and he will hit his receiver out there in the flat. That is Gabe Koprova again there on the reception, and he has a nice little gain there on the play and a nice open field tackle there to prevent the touchdown. So it looks like that is enough for a first down. So they will again move the chains. So on the 21-yard line now, with 8 minutes flat to go here in this first quarter. North Tama, again, coming out of the huddle, lining up, and they'll be in a shotgun formation. And Skylar Stacker, we were talking to the North Tama guys up here in the press booth about some of their players to watch, and one name that they immediately pointed out was Skylar Stacker, and he has already done a phenomenal job. As you can see, he completes a short little pass over the middle there to his receiver, and he is able to cruise on in for a touchdown there. So North Tama, talking about Skylar Stacker, and you can see just on that opening drive there, he created a lot of momentum and was kind of the soul of that offense there. So North Tama wasting little to no time there in this one, putting on the first 6 points of the season. They will line up for the extra point here. And that kick is up, and it looks like it will split the upright. So North Tama, with 7:42 to go in this first quarter, already up to a 7-0 lead. And another cool feature on top of our video broadcast is a little scoreboard here. You can find it in your lower left-hand corner of the screen.
We're pretty much NFL Network at this point. We've got a live broadcast. We're really stepping them up.
I think, last year we were kind of waiting on a call, but, I understand it, Tim. It's first time. You don't want to throw the newbies into a big seat, but I'd say,
they must be impressed. They must be impressed with our performance from last year. I mean, I thought we sounded good, but that might be a little bit biased.
I think, hey, no bias here, Tim. I mean, You're bringing some great commentary every Friday night. You are one that we can always count on. So I think your performance last year, even for being just a new guy, you stepped right up to the plate, and I'm excited to see, what type of hits and what type of waves we can create this year.
Hopefully they're good, some good vibrations.
Good vibrations, as North Tama experiencing a little bit of deja vu here, as they will again line up to kick this one deep.
Let's put another boomer there.
Pretty good kick there. It'll be fielded at the 12-yard line, and he will quickly be brought down on the return. That looks like it was the number 20 of Michael DeYoung. Michael DeYoung, just a sophomore at North Mahaska. And just real quick, Tim, looking at the depth chart of North Mahaska, especially in the thick of the 2000s, between, let's say, 2001 to 2009, North Mahaska, one thing that they definitely thrived on was their size, having big linemen, big backs, big receivers, just having a lot of strength taking the field. And I think one thing that you don't really see too much of this year is size, as the tallest player on North Mahaska's roster stands at about 6'2". So not a lot of big boys up there, but we know it's not about the size of the fight, it's about the size of the dog, and I think North Mahaska has a lot of heart Well, that's something that we've seen a lot of over the off season. Kids constantly in the weight room, just trying to get themselves better, trying to get themselves stronger, so that way when they come and they take the field on Friday night, that they have a lot of juice and that they're just really excited and really energetic and enthusiastic about everything that they're going to accomplish on the field that night.
Yeah, there was definitely a pretty good turnout for summer weightlifting programs, and I think that'll bleed through into the season here, but I guess we'll find out.
And Dylan Klinker, definitely one of those big attenders of the offseason weightlifting, as he will take the ball and he will pitch it to his running back that looks to be the number 8 of Matthew Gumont. Matthew Gumont, another junior there. So you think Matthew kind of playing a little bit more dominant role this year in the running back position. You think between him and Dylan Klinker, and then when Blake Reedshaw is healthy again, him joining the field, they could be quite the trio.
Definitely, we'll have the Three Musketeers back. I mean, they put together just Reach on Klinker last year. Granted, there was several standout performances from other players, but between those two, they put on quite the performance. And add Matt to the lineup. He's also been putting a lot of work in the offseason. I think it'll be good.
So North Mahaska 3rd and 11 here on their own 18-yard line. Dylan Klinker will take the snap, and he is rolling out to the left side. And he tries to look for a pass, look for a receiver, and he is unable to find one. And he is brought down in the backfield by a gaggle of Red Hawks. Looks like the number 59 of Ryan McLean, another two-way dominant player for the Red Hawks. A little bit fired up after that play as he was able to force a fumble, taking the ball out of the hands of Dylan Klinker. Dylan Klinker was scrolling to the left side of the field, trying to find a receiver down in the open, but was unable to find anybody, and he tried to take matters into his own hands. And just as soon as that decision was made, Tim, there was just a big gaggle, like I said, of Red Hawks there waiting to bring him down. And not only did they bring him down, but they were able to regain possession. So they will take the ball, they will hand it off to the number 23 of Noah Weber, and he is trudging forward, having an excellent blockade of Red Hawks, paving the way for him there. And it looks like he will be stopped just short of the goal line there. Sam Terpstra coming up with the ball on that pile, but officials saying that he was well down and that the play was blown dead, so North Tama will still have possession here on this one.
Tell you what, one thing I've noticed from this game so far is this field is redder than a tomato.
Redder than? Can you explain the redness of this tomato, Tim?
It's like a very, very ripe tomato. It's not one of them green ones, or I guess green tomatoes don't.
Like a well-seasoned tomato?
Yeah, definitely. Like.
As Stacker takes the snap, fakes a handoff, and it looks like he faked about the other 21 players on that field, and he was able to trot into the end zone. So North Tama already creating a lot of movement here early. Again, only 5:17 left to go in the first quarter, and North Mahaska already down 13-0 here, Tim. Again, we talked about after the first touchdown, this is not the start that the Warhawks wanted to have going into the first game of the season. So it looks like after this extra point, they need to be a little bit more cautious on the offensive side of things. They need to do a better job of protecting the ball and just letting the pace of the game come to them. They can't get ahead of anything. They can't get ahead of themselves. As the kick is up, and again, that will split the upright. So North Tama off to a quick 14-0 lead in this one.
Well, since we got a little bit of downtime here, why don't we help notice some of the people who make these things possible. American Family Insurance. I believe that has something to do with the Warhawks' own head coach this year, Phil Griffin.
Capriva. I think I said
Find the right protection.
Capriva.
You're getting more Romanian. Capsula is Bibi.
Okay.
Capriva.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much. Yes, so I know we were talking about KIIC and, the contributions that they've made in the offseason to bring a lot more depth to the broadcast this year. But, yes, we have a lot of wonderful sponsors that are able to kind of put in their support and are able to help bring these broadcasts to you. So, yes, Boyd's U.S. Cellular in New Sharon is your local authorized U.S. Cellular agent. You can also find another location of theirs in Grinnell. They'll help you get the best deal in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere. So if you're looking for a new phone or you're looking for a new carrier and you're looking for just some top-notch service, look no further than Boyd's U.S. Cellular service there in New Sharon and Grinnell.
Definitely good service. I got my new iPhone XR there.
So that kickoff will be fielded at the 10-yard line, and they're dancing around a little bit. Again, that is the number 20 there of Michael DeYoung. So Michael DeYoung fielding 2 kickoffs out of 3 so far, able to get a little bit of yardage on that one. So North Mahaska will take over at the 20, looks to be about the 29-yard line. North Mahaska hasn't had a lot of good, open field and a lot of good field position to start their drives, Tim. So I think that's been a little bit of a weight so far in their performance this game. But Dylan Klinker still lines up under center with a lot of confidence. Hands off to his back, Matthew Gumont. Matthew Gumont able to find a nice little hole there and got about a 5-yard gain on that one. And, Tim, when we see the running game, we saw it a lot last year. It doesn't have to be massive amounts of yards each gain. It can just be slow and steady.
3.33 yards a carry is all you need.
It is. You average those 3.33 yards. You find yourself kind of wound up in a pretty efficient offense there.
And you end up wearing down the defense. And by the time you're down the field, everyone's wore out.
Dylan Klinker, 2nd and 5 here for the Warhawks. Again, hands off to Matthew Gumont. Matthew Gumont trying to cut back again, but he is kind of caught up there, and that is the number 3 of Skylar Stacker. So the quarterback for the Redhawks also doing his fair share of work there on the defense as he lines up at middle linebacker, and Matthew Gumont trying to find a hole there and to cut back, but that was still no clue or no maze for Stacker there, able to get Matthew Gumont, get him right at the ankles and bring him down there. So North Mahaska 3rd and 4, 4:10 to go here in this first quarter. Your Redhawks lead your Warhawks 14-0. Dylan Klinker, I formation, pitches out to the running back of Hayden Jones, and he is trying to find some room there to run, and he finds a good amount of space there, shedding some tackles, finding his way over to the North Mahaska sideline, and that'll be enough for a North Mahaska first down. So Tim, took North Mahaska 3 possessions, but they finally find themselves in their first down possession, kind of earned the hard way this year.
Yeah, definitely. That was a very good run by Hayden. He was running too much east and west there for a little bit, but he ended up figuring out the north and south, and very powerful run by Hayden Jones. Yes,
and we are right now with the Warhawks and how they're lining up on this field. We are looking for all north trucking here, all north traffic. So North Mahaska on their own 41-yard line up, 1st and 10. Again, we see him in that popular I formation. They will hand off to Hayden Jones, and he will try to find his way up the middle. Not a whole lot of room to run there, and he will quickly be brought down. Looks like he got about a gain of 1 or 2 yards on that play, so just a little shy of that 3.3. But hey, 2 yards is a lot easier to work with than no yards, Tim.
Definitely, all progress is good progress.
It definitely is, and Tim, although we haven't seen a whole lot of success out of the Warhawks so far in this game, I'm just really glad to see the type of confidence that Dylan Klinker is showing under center. Dylan Klinker, not only a tremendous football player, but a great leader as he drops back to pass, and he looks over the middle, and he hits his receiver of Sam Terpstra, and Sam Terpstra kind of taken by surprise on that one as he looked like Tim, he caught it, and it bounced off of his chest, fell right back into his hands, and was able to turn upfield a little bit more of that northbound and down, and he made his way up well into the open field, and that is good for a Warhawk first down and then some.
That was definitely a great play. Like you said, Samuel was a little bit taken off guard by catching that, but he provided a very good run after the catch.
Sam Terpstra was able to do a little bit of contributing. Whoops, my bad there. Last year as a freshman and this year as a... Oh, Dylan Klinker tries to find his receiver over the middle, but he is unable to complete the pass, at least to his North Mahaska receiver, as North Tama was there. They were preying on that ball, and they were able to bring it down and change the possession. So North Mahaska, again, Tim, last year we saw a lot of mistakes, created this big weight for the Warhawks, and looks like every time they start to kind of knock that weight off their shoulders and take the rocks out of that backpack, they just throw it right back on. So North Mahaska, while they had a lot of steam going on that offensive possession there, just kind of unsuccessful with any sort of progress, throwing an interception there. So North Tama, finding themselves on the opposite side of the 50-yard line this time, will take over at their own 31-yard line. We see North Mahaska runs a very dominant I formation while North Tama takes a shotgun. They'll take the snap, and they will do a little option pass A little option handoff, and they're running back, doing a series of jukes around the Warhawks, able to get into a lot of open field and gets a gain of about 30 yards on that play. So North Tama, the running back, Noah Weber, just taking the option handoff on that one, and all he had to do was run with it, Tim. The other 10 people on his team were doing their fair share of blocking and creating a way for him, and all he had to do was find that open air, and he just had to smell the roses from there.
Definitely smell the roses.
So North Mahaska, little difficulty there, trying to stop the run as it'll do a fake handoff, and the number 1 of Gabe Capriva will beat everybody down the field, shedding tackles. And I tell you what, it looks like Gabe Capriva, when he's in that foot race, there's not a whole lot you can do. He is running with no potato sack there wrapped around his knees there, Tim.
That's definitely a good comparison. I've never heard that one before, Jack. It's pretty interesting.
Can't say I've ever heard of it either. So you know what? We like to make it up and we like to run with it. And it looks like Capriva liked to run with it too there, as he found himself adding another 6 points onto the scoreboard there. So North Tama 2 for 2 already on extra point attempts. They will line up, see if they can make it 3 for 3. Gabe Capriva, I mean, at this point, his legs are well warmed up. So as long as he gets a good snap and he gets a good hold, he will take that one, and it'll be very thin. Not a whole lot of breathing room on that kick, but it's not about how it looks, it's about where it lands, and that one was able to find its way just over the crossbar before falling back to the ground. So North Tama will take a 21-0 lead here early.
You know what, Jack? You showed up at my house so soon after I got home that I didn't even have time to make dinner. So
you didn't have time.
You know what I should have done?
What should you have done there, Tim?
I stopped by East Market Grocery and Deli. They got fresh cut meats, Hunt Brothers Pizza, or they even have homemade dinners ready to take out and heat up. They also have cakes and homemade pies. They're a small town grocery store with big town selection. East Market Grocery in New Sharon, one of the proud sponsors of our broadcast. I hope they I don't know if they've listened, because they might be,
the grind never stops.
They don't know what they got into with us. I mean, you never know.
And while East Market Grocery has been making a tremendous amount of a difference here on this broadcast over the years, they have also been creating quite a wave in their community too, always supporting the school, supporting local campaigns and local causes. So East Market Grocery there in New Sharon, very locally, just local legends, very proud of where they came from, and we are so grateful for the support that they show us and the community of New Sharon. So that one will again make its way to the 15-yard line. Michael DeYoung will let it bounce, and he will quickly find a little hop in there. Gets a gain of about 8 yards on the play. So North Mahaska will take over on their own 25-yard line for another series of 1st and 10. North Mahaska, last drive, saw a lot of momentum, kind of saw a lot of promise there, but just one little mistake, just too thin of a pass, putting the ball into the hands of North Tama and taking it back the other way for 7 more points. So let's see if North Mahaska can kind of get a little bit more traction here with this passing game, with this running game, whatever they choose to do. Dylan Klinker 1st and 10 on his own 25-yard line. Hands it off there. Little power I formation up the middle, and that'll be good for about a gain of inches on that one. So North Mahaska about 2nd and 10. We have 1:50 to go here in this first quarter. And I think Dylan Klinker, I mean, he's done a pretty stellar job so far, finding receivers. I mean, just besides that one little bump there, but he's doing a good job of finding receivers. And then when he gets Blake Reachaw back out there in the weeks to come, a favorite target of his last year, I think that they can connect. And when they do, they will be creating some serious damage. So 2nd and 10 for the Warhawks. Klinker will scroll out to his left, and he will try to beat all the defenders, but he will be wrapped up by Adam Greiner, a sophomore there for North Tama. So North Tama
looking to capitalize on Klinker's speed there, get him to the outside, maybe break out on one of those big runs that he had last year.
And he had quite the wall of Warhawks there trying to pave the way for him, but again, a lot of east-west action there, and by the time that Klinker was able to maybe find a little bit of green room, there was nothing much that he could do at that point, as Greiner was able to wrap him up in the backfield. So Dylan Klinker, let's see what he can do. 3rd 3rd and 12 here for the Warhawks. Power I formation. He is scrolling and he is looking to his left and he is looking deep. Oh, and he has his receiver over the middle of the field, but that pass will be just away from him. That is the senior number 88, Logan Shipley, trying to find the ball into the hands of Shipley there, but Shipley just not able to whip out his elastic grip and bring that one in, so that'll be just a little bit out of reach, bringing up 4th and 12 here for the Warhawks with 34 seconds to go here in this first quarter.
Yeah, Jack, kind of like that. Tenderloin I had for supper. There was just a little bit too much mustard on that one.
There was a little bit too much mustard. Be careful when you do go to the Montezuma Casey's. That mustard machine does have a mind of its own sometimes, so do just be careful and cautious when you are pumping your tenderloin or your hamburger, your hot dog full of mustard. Dylan Klinker will find that ball bouncing all the way to the inside of the 40-yard line. So North Tama, 24 seconds to go here in this quarter, will take over on their own 39-yard line. And Sean Kanako, that's the second time we've seen the Warhawks punt this game. First one faced a little bit of pressure there, and I believe his first punt got tipped there, but that one had a little bit more room to work with and was able to get a pretty good leg underneath it. At least he got a very generous bounce off that one, Tim.
Hey, sometimes that's all it takes. Good bounce.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see as Stacker brings his squad up here. 1st and 10, 24 seconds to go. North Tama with a 21-0 lead. Drops back in the shotgun formation, surveying the field, and he has a receiver deep, and he will hit him right on the numbers, and he will make his way past his defender there. So Grant Smith playing coverage, just not able to get his man secure, and Stacker sat back. He locked and loaded, and he had his eyes set downfield on his receiver there, and they were able to bring it in for 6 more points. So Stacker, this is the first time that Tim and I have seen him, but we can see exactly what these North Tama guys in the booth were talking about, just why he would be one to watch this game. And it's only the first quarter, Tim. There's still seconds left to go in this one, and he has already done a tremendous amount of damage in this contest.
Oh, he's been definitely setting up the highlight reel.
Ooh, is that one? A little bit of a line drive there. A little bit of a line drive finding its way, smacking foreheads with the upper right-hand bar there, but able to bounce its way in. So North Tama taking a 28-0 lead earlier. And Tim, earlier I was talking about Stacker and his tremendous vision of the field and able to find receivers and find them open. And, I can't help but think, just after watching the incredible eyes he has, that he must spend a lot of time down there with Dr. Jim Else and his eye care partners in the Penn Central Mall, located in Oskaloosa, and they are dedicated to providing comprehensive quality eye care to their patients. Penn Central Eye Care offers exams, an extensive selection of eyewear, and cataract and LASIK assessments and follow-up assistance. You can contact Dr. Jim Else, Eye Care Partners, at Penn Central Mall in Oskaloosa. And I'm just bound and determined that Stacker does all of his eye exams and all of his eye work there with Dr. Else. And so just seeing the tremendous vision that he has, if you're ever in need for a little bit more of an eagle eye, look no further than Dr. Jim Else in Penn Central Mall there in Oskaloosa.
That crew knows how to get it done, Jack, I tell you what.
They definitely do. So for the 5th time in this game, North Tama will line up. 4th time. I believe we're just the 4th time there. Gets a pretty good boot there. Michael DeYoung again. Oh, a little bit of a burnout there, but it'll be fielded there, and a pretty decent return by number 8 of Matthew Gumat.
Definitely, he had a hard charging going on there. Ran right into the defenders.
He did. Matthew Gumat, again, not a very stout individual for the Warhawks. Matthew Gumat, a junior, lining up at 5'11" and 160 pounds. But if he's anything like his brother Andrew not having a very commanding frame either, but willing to run into anyone and everyone. So Matthew Gumat has that tough grit to him, and so he will line up in the fullback position here. Hayden Jones for the Warhawks lines up in the back, a sophomore for the Warhawks. He'll get the handoff from Dylan Klinker, and he'll try to shut off a block, and he will be met by about 3 or 4 Redhawks there, and they will stuff him and stomp him in the background, or in the backfield there for a loss on the play. But that play will bring the first quarter to a close as the horn has sounded. So at the end of the first quarter here, North Tama with a 28-0 lead over the Warhawks here in this contest so far. North Mahaska Warhawks against the North Tama Redhawks here in Schreier. And this was advertised, Tim, as, the Battle of the Birds. And it looks like just in the first quarter alone, North Tama already digging their talons in and showing them who rules the roost around here.
Yeah, it's definitely been pretty aggressive on North Tama's part. I think if the Warhawks kind of clean up those mistakes they make and kind of play some hard-nosed football like they started to on their second drive, I think that it'll be a lot more competitive coming into the second quarter. I hope they make their adjustments, and we'll see how it goes from there.
And if North Tama was a cell, I think it's safe to say that Skylar Stacker would be the nucleus of that entire operation. Is a lot of their offensive success.
He might even be the mitochondria, because that is the powerhouse.
That's the powerhouse of the cell.
He's been showing some impressive strength out there on the field.
He has, creating a lot of momentum on the offensive side of things with his I think Stacker just has a natural ability to let the pace of the game come to him, and I think we've seen that kind of end well for the Redhawks there.
He's definitely seemed very smooth in his actions, and nothing seems to shake him too much, and that's all the characteristics of a good leader and especially a good quarterback.
One might say that Stacker is smoother than a fresh jar of Skippy.
Yeah, I mean, more than one person would probably say that. I'm sure if Bruno Mars knew him, he'd probably make a song about him as well.
So maybe we'll get Bruno Mars to leave his high life in Hollywood, and maybe he wants to come hang out in rural Iowa for a Friday night. So Bruno, we know you're out there listening somehow, some way, somewhere, and so you're more than welcome to come on down to good old New Sharon anytime that you would like, and just come hang out in the press box with Tim and I. We'd love to have you, and we'd love to just gain some wisdom from you.
Yeah, just be the way you are, man.
Just the way you are, Bruno, is exactly how we want you. So North Mahaska calling a timeout there. Dylan Klinker pulling himself up from under center, calling timeout and running over to Coach Griffin on the sidelines there. So North Mahaska burning a timeout. But, Klinker there, you would think that there'd be just a little bit of miscommunication, and you got to admire, a player that doesn't want to, make any mistakes.
Yeah, I think he definitely played the responsible role on that one.
So North Mahaska on their own 26-yard line. Klinker lines up power I formation. Matthew Gumat as the fullback, Hayden Jones as the running back, and they will try again to do a little bit of a shuffle here to Dylan Klinker, and Dylan Klinker able to break a couple tackles there, but faced a pretty hard hit and lost control of the football there, and Dylan Klinker shaken up there, Tim.
That's not very good for the Warhawks. He seems to be not moving at all.
No.
He's squirming a little bit, I guess.
Dylan Klinker, did a good job of shedding a couple blocks there, but was hit very, very hard on that one, shaking the ball loose from his grip, and North Tama gaining possession. So Dylan Klinker hunching over a little bit there, maybe trying to catch his breath a little bit, just kind of letting things come back to him, just taking a few deep breaths. Dylan Klinker, there's a couple times last year where we saw that he left the game with injuries, and that is not what the Warhawks needed at that point in time. As Dylan Klinker is a big wave maker for the Warhawks, and to lose his presence on the field can, kind of change the momentum and can kind of change the confidence of that Warhawk team.
Oh, it can definitely shake them up quite a bit. But as we saw last year, like you said, Klinker got shaken up a few different times, which you don't want to see, but he displayed a great deal of toughness and still stuck it out for most of those games and was never out for very long. So we'll see how serious it seems to be this time around.
Dylan Klinker, a tough little tootsie roll there. So North Tama will take
Never
over
heard that
here.
one either.
Stacker will take the snap, and he will hand it off to his running back there of the number 23, Noah Weber, able to find his way a little bit up the gut there and to get a pretty good healthy gain there. So a gain of about 6 yards on the play. North Tama 2nd and 4 on the North Mahaska 19-yard line. 11:30 to go in the second quarter. North Mahaska facing a deficit of 28-0. So we'll see Dylan Klinker still has not rejoined the field for the Warhawks, but we will hopefully look to see his number back out there on the field. They'll do a fake handoff there, and Stacker will try to hurdle a defender, sheds a fair share of tackles, and he is still on his feet, Tim, and he is getting pushed, and he will make his way down inside the 5-yard line. So it looked like he started making a little bit of contact around the 10-yard line, but he didn't give up, nor did his team give up. They kept pushing him, and they found a way all the way down inside the 5-yard line before they finally made contact with the ground. So
a very aggressive run.
North Mahaska again, not the first quarter that they were hoping to have, but definitely not the second quarter either, as there is another player on the field down with an injury. North Mahaska, facing that injury with Klinker now, and now this one here, obviously, this player has a vital role in the defense. We can't quite catch a number on who it is, but North Mahaska just facing a lot of hard hits here from North Tama. North Tama coming out with a lot of grit from the gate early and just really holding nothing back, Tim.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, something's not looking right with all the injuries. I mean, you can't control that, but sometimes it starts to wear on you, especially on the mental side of the game. Well, while we got a moment, Hardee's wishes everyone a happy and healthy playing season this year. Tune into the Hardee's football preview show on KIIC Fridays at 7 a.m. live from Hardee's in Albia. I could definitely use a
charbroiled burger.
Definitely. I don't even know what Hardee's calls their burgers. I never go there.
And I'm sure that Hardee's has a properly functioning mustard machine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would end up ruining any clothing items or shorts, which is a clothing item, so I don't know why I specified. But I don't see that happening at Hardee's.
No, yeah, it doesn't do a man good when you ruin a fresh pair of khakis with a nice mustard stain, Tim. Now, does it?
No, it's happened way too many times to me in my life.
Say, I know that you're a man speaking from experience there, as the Red Hawks will be speaking from experience here. Stacker completes a pass over to his receiver, number 1 of Gabe Capriva, another sophomore for the Red Hawks. Short little screen pass, but that is enough to get the job done. North Tama finds their way into the end zone for another 6 points. So 10:57 to go in this second quarter. Capriva, another kind of a popular connection from Stacker there, able to complete the short little 3 yards and make his way over that Mason-Dixon line for another good 6 points. So Capriva catching that touchdown, now lining up to be the man to hopefully put it through the uprights here. He'll wait on the snap from his center. Again, as long as we see, looks like it'd be a pretty good hold and a beautiful kick by Capriva, clearing the gate fence just in the back of the end zone there and making its way into the parking lot. So Capriva, it looks like when we see a good snap and a good hold for him, he's able to get a lot of strength and a lot of power underneath that right leg.
Yeah, he has definitely shown some exquisite kicking ability tonight here, Jack. And I know that's something that's more prevalent, but back in my day, back in the good old days of football, their kicking just it didn't seem to be a big thing. That or I just wasn't noticing it. But nowadays it seems like you got I can't even think of the guy's name from the NFL that's pretty good, but you get those style kickers in high school anymore, and it's becoming more of a skill position that people are demanding.
Beautiful kick, but he missed it.
As that was a beautiful kick, but we are just getting word from a game official here that kick was no good.
Well, maybe everyone thinking that we are good announcers is starting to fail already, but I think we'll be able to pull this one out.
Don't worry, folks. It's just the first game of the year.
Simple
We still have a
mistake.
lot of football left to cover this year. And, you know, sometimes things look good, but you're not entirely sure, you know, how they'll turn out until you actually go and give it a shot. So, like, that kick there, you know, it looked good from here, but, you know, we weren't down there on the field. I wouldn't even say that we were necessarily following the direction of the ball as much as the height of the ball. But again, if you're looking for something that is pretty, that looks good, and it drives well, then look no further than Craig Ford in Oskaloosa. They are ready to meet and exceed your high expectations in your car shopping quest. Check out their online inventory, investigate financing options, and use their car finder to be notified when a matching car arrives. And you can find all of that at craigford.com. So thank you, Craig Ford, for being another stellar sponsor of the North Mahaska Warhawk 2019 football season. North Mahaska will take over on their own 21-yard line. We talked about Sam Terpstra last year, kind of getting a little bit of field experience. And again, in the absence of Dylan Klinker, Sam Terpstra stepping into a little bit more of a familiar role for him on the field here. So again, Sam Terpstra, very young. Just a young sophomore here for the Warhawks, but definitely is not foreign to these Friday night lights and this environment, Tim.
No, he definitely took a lot of snaps last year.
Mm-hmm. Gets a pitch out to Matthew Gumat, and he is met by a congregation of Red Hawks there, about 4 or 5 of them on that stop. Matthew Gumat trying to dig in and to keep himself pushing forward, but just too much opposing force there, able to push him back there for a loss of about 2 yards on the play. So that was, again, that snap taken by sophomore Sam Terpstra, trying to get a little bit of a gain there by pitching out to the right side of the field to his back, Matthew Gumat. But Matthew, not a lot of breathing room over there in North Tama, able to capitalize on that open field that he had. So we will again try this power I formation from the Warhawks. Sam Terpstra under center, and he will hand it off to Hayden Jones. And Hayden Jones trying to find a hole to make his way through, but not a whole lot of breathing room there. As it seems like the North Mahaska offensive line is not. They're not a well-oiled machine on this drive here, Tim.
They've definitely been pretty shaky, allowing way too many defenders to penetrate, and that's just not something you want. It's just causes too many problems, and then it doesn't give the backs time to think about, especially quarterbacks. It doesn't give them the time to think that they need, especially on passing plays. So hopefully they can kind of put it together and fix their problems and help smooth out this offense.
You know, football is a game of about quick decisions, but you know, the more time you have to make those quick decisions, the more effective you can be in those. So they will hand off to Hayden Jones, and he will try to trudge up the right side of the line there, and gets a little bit of a gain there, but not enough. So North Mahaska will be 4th and 12 here on their own 19-yard line. Looks like they will have North Mahaska with, it looked like Sam Terpstra was kind of the head honcho in that huddle there, kind of signaling that they would be attempting to convert this 4th down, but you know, 4th and 13, not the most appropriate conditions there, Tim, to try to do that.
No, especially not on your own 19-yard line. It's a pretty dangerous place to put yourself in, especially when things haven't been going your way on defense. And I just don't think it'd be a smart decision for them to go for it. They've had a little bit of a rocky road when it comes to their execution on offense, and there's always that chance to pull out a big play, but I don't think the chance is big enough to hand the ball over on the 19 or possibly even closer to their own end zone.
No, definitely would not be a wise move by the Warhawks there. So kudos to whoever that was on the Warhawk side of things, calling timeout and regathering themselves, making sure that what they're about to do on this 4th and 13 situation is the best choice. And so, Tim, I would expect to see Sean Knockle again make his way onto the field and see just how deep he can send it. Sean Knockle, you know, not a beefy boy for the Warhawks either. True freshman, 5'11", so a little bit of height to him, but 141 pounds. It's a good thing it's not too windy tonight, Tim, or else he might blow over.
That's for sure. He's definitely hitting that crosswind. He's up high enough that he's getting that higher altitude, that little crosswind they get. But
let's see how
his legs definitely getting warm.
Let's see how much wind his left foot can generate as he gets the ball off cleanly and not too deep of a punt there, and they will let this one bounce across the 50-yard line. So the number 84 for the Warhawks, that is Tarek Bellinger, a sophomore, able to put his hand on that ball and get the play blown dead. So North Tama will take over at the 50-yard line. 8.5 minutes to go in this first half. 1st and 10 here for the Red Hawks. And from the birth of your baby to your surgery, from emergencies to elective healthcare services and all the sore throats, bumps, and bruises along the way, Mahaska Health Partnership is here for you. And if you wake up sick, Mahaska Health primary care providers now offer same-day appointments starting at 7:30 a.m. on a first-come, first-served basis. First-come, first-served basis. I tell you what, that is convenient to the people there, Tim.
Yeah, they're always trying to help out, very good with the community, and I've been very fortunate in my life. I haven't had too many instances where I've had to be rushed to that care center there in Oski, but I have that comfortability, and the words are escaping me right now. I got that comfort and just relaxing feeling, knowing that if I go there that I'm going to be treated fairly and get the care that I deserve, and that's always a good thing to have.
And it's always nice and comforting to have that tip-top care, but how convenient is it that you can find that tip-top care in our local community of Oskaloosa?
It's perfect. I mean, you don't have to drive very far. If a bad emergency really does happen and somebody needs rushed, it's a short drive, and if you got family that are around the area, it's just good.
I'd say if I've been to Mahaska Health Partnership on a handful of times, but if I could compare them to anything, I would say that they are definitely the Hy-Vee of hospitals. For every aisle that I've walked down, there's been a helpful smile. So Mahaska Health Partnership, phenomenal place to go if you ever find yourself in that unfortunate circumstance where you're in need of care, or you're in need of healing or sickness. Look no further than your own Mahaska Health Partnership, located there in Oskaloosa.
Yeah, if you happen to feel like you want a little bit of freedom and you have a little bit of money and you decide you want to buy a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, and you just happen to drop the Harley-Davidson motorcycle and end up breaking your hand, definitely go there, because I know somebody who's very close to me that got great care for that.
Sure, you're not talking about yourself there, Tim, are you?
No, why would I?
I don't know. You wouldn't do that to yourself on live radio.
But it looks like a motorcycle. I never have.
That'll be a little cross handoff there. The number 23 of Noah Weber taking the handoff from Stacker and gets a gain of maybe a yard. Looks like the tip of the football tickling that 49-yard hash line. So they will take over from the 49-yard line up in North Mahaska territory now. 8 minutes to go. North Tama a 34-0 lead. 2nd and 9 here. Stacker will line up shotgun formation. Weber just to his right. We'll do another handoff to Weber there, and a wrap-up phenomenal tackle there on North Mahaska. The number 13 of Chase Grandia.
Very good play there.
A young sophomore, and we've seen Weber's been able to do a lot of damage kind of on the field every time that he has the ball in his hand, but Chase Grandia, although he's young, looked like an experienced veteran out there on that field, able to make that open field tackle and to bring him down for a loss.
Yeah, when you have very fast backs like that, it's great to keep it contained, and Chase really executed well on that play defensively.
He did so. Awesome job by Chase Grandia, and that'll be 3rd and 12 there for the Red Hawks. Stacker takes a shotgun snap, and he is looking downfield. He has about 4 receivers over there in the open, and he's facing a lot of pressure, looks downfield, and is unable to complete the pass. Oh, and Tim, it looks like that was to the number 21 of Zach Griner, but the coverage on Griner there was the number 14 of Dylan Klinker. So Dylan Klinker playing a little bit of peekaboo there, kind of sneaking up on us there, getting himself back out on that field and able to help contribute a stop there.
Well, it looks like we do have another Warhawk.
Another injury here as Coach Griffin and his trainers are making that run across the field over to 10 to their down dog there. So with
that appears to be the 77 of Tracy Gumont that is down on the Warhawks.
Trace Gumat, Trace Gumat is a very interesting individual. You know, we've talked about the size that North Mahaska has had in past years, but that's not something that we have an abundance of this year. But Trace Gumat, with the size that the Warhawks do have, he is a phenomenal contributor to that. Trace Gumat, just a young freshman, in 9th grade, stands 6 foot tall and 250 pounds. And I tell you what, folks, I have seen Trace Gumat running over the offseason, early in the morning there in the weight room, after school in the weight room, and those 250 pounds, that is just pure muscle. He is one lean, mean Warhawk machine.
Yeah, I guess you can come up with a lot of cooler things to say than that, but I mean, that is a pretty cool name. He is definitely one of the strongest young kids I have seen, especially around North Mahaska. He is stronger than I am, and those of you who know me know that I am pretty strong. So
I say if I saw Trace Gumat walking around the suburbs of New Sharon and we were walking on the same sidewalk, I would quickly make my way over across the street to the opposite sidewalk just so I wouldn't have to come across him. He's a big dude, but I tell you what, he's got a heart of a teddy bear. Trace Gumat, a phenomenal kid, phenomenal athlete, and just a phenomenal character. As that snap gets sent to space over the head, and he is able to get the punt off, and a phenomenal bounce there. As that he made lemonade out of lemons there. Stacker, ball going at least 5 yards over his head, facing a heavy amount of pressure from the Warhawks, but able to have just enough time, gets that one off, and a phenomenal punt that bounces inside the 20-yard line. So North Mahaska looked like they would have been facing some pretty good field position there to start off this series, but Stacker again making lemonade out of lemons.
I definitely did not expect to see that happen. I mean, he did a very good job of turning what could have been a very disastrous play into something that turned out to work out very well for him.
Stacker, offensive juggernaut, defensive threat, but a special teams extraordinaire. Tell you what, Tim, is there anything that this kid can't do?
I haven't seen him play saxophone yet in the band, but we'll see. We'll wait until.
Maybe he can make minute rice in under a minute. Maybe that's his secret sauce.
That would be very impressive.
Woo! Matthew Gumat getting the boat rocked on that handoff. A little bit of a tussle there on the field between the birds there. Quickly broken up by the officials. Matthew Gumat took that handoff, and it looked like he was a man on a mission until he was met by a brick wall and quickly brought down. So Matthew Gumat looks like he's a little shaken up on that play. Flag on the field. Matthew Gumat taking his helmet off and walking over to the sideline. So we will await the call from the officials. And Tim, I got to say, if this kind of depicts, the attitude of the game so far, this is our first flag of the entire contest. I mean, 6:45 left to go in this first half, and this is the first penalty that we've seen.
That's definitely a surprise. You don't see that very often, and after some of the games we witnessed last year, it's nice to see, just good, clean football. That's the way it should be. That's the way it was intended to be, and it's just great.
Looks like we have a penalty against both teams here.
This got out of hand.
So the 65 there of Ethan Molenberg just having a quick little discussion with the official, but makes his way back to his own huddle. Dylan Klinker back in the game here for the Warhawks. Just kind of what unfolded there in the last couple minutes. You would think hopefully Dylan Klinker maybe has a little bit of a fire underneath his tail, and he's able to kind of take that fire and turn it into a big spark here for the Warhawks and lets it spread to all 11 players on the offensive side of the ball.
With all due respect, I'd like to say that I think the fire comes after the spark usually, but yeah, I get what you're trying to say there, and hopefully he pulls something out here.
North Tama player running off the field with his helmet off, so it looks like he'll just sit out a play or two until he is able to join his team back on the field.
Gotta love mechanical issues. Said nobody ever.
Except for mechanics.
I guess that's a good point there.
Got to make a living, Tim. And if it's broke, somebody's got to fix it.
Yep, or it's going to sit in your yard for 25 years.
Speaking of, if something's broke and you're looking to fix it, maybe say a tooth, a canine, an incisor, a molar, whatever it might be, you can make your way down to Oski Dental because they will give you a high-tech dental office that is truly there for you, and you are more than welcome inside the doors there anytime at Oski Family Dental. And they will take the headaches out of dealing with your insurance with a team member exclusively assigned to help you navigate your insurance plan. Tell Dr. Schuster you heard it on Thunder Country to receive a free dental screening. Ooh, Dr. Schuster already pulling out the big guns here. So yeah, if you're tuning in and you have a little bit of a headache there, maybe it's physically, maybe it's mentally, maybe it's with your insurance, go down there to Dr. Schuster and he will get you hooked up at Oski Family Dental there in Oskaloosa. As the returner on that, Capriva will let the ball bounce, and he will make a very kind of a risky play there as North Mahaska was just feet from him when he received that, but able to navigate his way through the traffic and to get a pretty healthy return on that. So they will take over at the North Mahaska 26-yard line. North Tama with a 34-0 lead, 5 minutes to go here in this first half.
That was not. I'd like to assure you guys that that was not us, and nobody was injured in the making of this production so far, at least. But anything's possible.
So we'll see. A little bit of a screen pass there to Capriva, and the last time that he did that, he was able to march his way in, but it looks like Clinker will bring him down, and he will get a short little stop there. So North Tama making about 3 or 4 yards of positive yardage there within their last couple plays. So 4:35 to go in this first half. Stacker will line up, and you will have Weber there to his left. Shotgun formation. Fakes the handoff to Weber and has a lot of real estate to run on the left side of the field, and he is trying to break as many tackles as he can, kind of kicking off them little ankle biters, and he is eventually brought down. So Stacker, good little QB keep there, making his way over the left side of the field. A healthy gain there for the Redhawks, and they will be 1st and goal now. So less than 10 yards to work with, and they've been pretty effective every time that they found themselves inside the red zone, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, hasn't been good red zone defense so far by the Warhawks, but hey, anytime is a good time to start.
So we'll see hopefully that this can be the kickstart to their campaign. Low snap. Stacker drops it a little bit, but that is no issue at all as he found just a canal. And he hopped in his little John boat and he sailed right up that bad boy into the end zone for another 6 points, making the score an even 40-0.
Yeah, I tell you what, on that last play, the play before that, he had everyone. I didn't know there was fake. He faked me out.
Like I said, there's 22 people on the field, and it looked like Stacker was the only one that knew where he was going. Tremendous athlete, Stacker, and seeing that drop snap, that low, sitting there with a little bit of hesitation, trying to make his move. Oh, we have a low snap here. They throw the ball up into the end zone, and it looks like Stacker was cutting across the middle, trying to find a little bit of breathing room to bring the ball in, and it looks like the handler for the special teams, Devin McKinley, a sophomore for the Redhawks, picked that ball up, looked downfield, saw Stacker kind of cutting across the middle, tried to make that completed pass to him, but it fell just short. So North Tama now with 4 minutes left in the first half has a commanding 40-0 lead. So the Proline Building Company of New Sharon is helping build your dreams with the best building systems available. They have quality sales and quality service. Proline can be trusted to help build your dreams.
Nutrient Ag Solutions is a leading agricultural retailer of crop inputs and solutions. If you're looking for top-of-the-line nutrients, let the staff at Nutrient Ag Solutions in New Sharon help you with your bottom line. Another one of our sponsors, one of my favorites, Scooter's Pub and Grub. They're a small-town restaurant with the best food around. Prime rib special on the weekends. They're famous for their tenderloins and homemade onion rings. Their beef is always fresh, never frozen, and hand-cut. They have live bands such as Journey's End,
Woo!
local legends. They have 3 pool tables and also shuffleboard. Open Tuesday through Saturday in New Sharon.
Tell you what, I had a Cowboy burger today, Tim, and I tell you what,
Doesn't get
nothing.
It's definitely the best thing I've ever had.
I have to agree with you, Tim. And like, as our good friends Cal Naughton Jr. and Ricky Bobby said, goes together like Chinese food and chocolate pudding, peanut butter and jelly. Them Cowboys with waffle fries. Just doesn't get any better than that, Tim.
That is definitely the golden ticket.
It is the golden ticket, and I tell you what, you don't have to buy a Wonka candy bar in hopes that you can find that golden ticket, because you don't need to look any further than your local Pub and Grub Scooters in New Sharon, Iowa.
Yeah, especially when they got bands like Journey's End.
Journey's End, yes. Local legends, small scale, but definitely always a good time wherever they are. So Dylan Klinker takes the snap on that, and he scrambles to the left side of the field trying to find a little bit of real estate, but he gets shuffled up there just a little bit and is brought down just a yard behind the line of scrimmage. So Dylan Klinker with not a whole lot of gain on that play. And again, on that kickoff, or on the kickoff there, that was Jaden Style, a sophomore for the Warhawks.
I do believe that might be his first year that he's came out for football. I've witnessed him having a conversation with other coaches in the weight room there in North Mahaska, and he seemed to be pretty new to the sport.
So Jaden Style, just very grateful to see all of these young ones out for North Mahaska and trying to build this solid foundation so that in years to come we can have just a strong program, and hopefully we can get a little bit more traction with the football side of the athletic department.
And by the way, just so everyone knows out there, Jaden Style has nothing to do with Style Me Crazy Salon Boutique. Ladies, would you like to shop for affordable women's clothing? If so, then hurry into Style Me Crazy Boutique in New Sharon. You will find trendy women's wear and accessories. New ladies' clothing arriving daily. That's Style Me Crazy Boutique. It's open Tuesday through Saturday right on Main Street in New Sharon. Best around.
So I think, Tim, last year you talked about maybe possibly purchasing a romper from Style Me Crazy and wearing it to a game.
I mean, that option's always on the table. Let me know on social medias, specifically Twitter, maybe Facebook if you really want to. If you really want to see me in a romper, I'd like I mean, if you guys want to, I guess I'm one for the fans, so I will definitely maybe do that depending on how confident in my body I am.
I think, like, learning from the wonderful film Field of Dreams, if you say it, if you share it, it will come. So if you are in favor for Tim Sterling here wearing a romper for a live broadcast, then you will then just go ahead and share it on all social media platforms, and we will try to get this campaign going. As Dylan Klinker on that last play, filming the handoff, but he will hand the ball off to his back there, and he will be met at about 2 yards above the line of scrimmage, but was stood up and shoved backwards. So on that play, that was the number 59 of Gage Mick. Gage Mick, another big dog there for the Warhawks, 6'1" and 240 pounds. So him and Trace Gumot sharing a similar frame there. And I tell you what, if you stand them up against some young pup, it's not going to be good.
Well, you know what Dwayne The Rock Johnson says? He says that a big dog has got to eat, and that's exactly what Gage Mick was doing there, trying to at least.
Hopefully we can start to smell what The Rock is cooking, and looks like he's cooking up a punt right now. Pretty good punt by Sean Knockle, as that'll be camped underneath by the number 20. Not sure who that is, but the number 29 of Tayton Payne, a senior for the Red Hawks, and he is able to cut his way across the field and gets a more than healthy gain for the Red Hawks on that punt return, making his way to about the 10-yard line.
Yeah, so that's definitely not what you see if you're a punt return team.
So a gain of about 35 on that for Tayton Payne. Red Hawks.
He brought the pain on that one.
He did. Let's see if the Red Hawks are about to bring the house down on this one. We have Gabe Capriva lining up under center, handing off to the number 23 of Weber, and he is desperately trying to fight his way out of that tackle there. It looks like he was wrapped up by the number 88 of Logan Shipley, and Logan Shipley able to stall the performance a little bit and allowed for more Warhawks to come in and join in on the party. So a good stop there by Logan Shipley and the Warhawk defensive team. The Red Hawks will take over at the 12-yard line. So a loss of about 2 yards on the play, as we have just under a minute here to go in this first half. Again, Capriva lining up under center. Weber there in the backfield for the Red Hawks. A power I formation, kind of going with the same tactic that North Mahaska often turns to. And he will try to make his way into the end zone, but he will be stopped, looks like just a little shy. So North Tama, as there is just under 25 seconds to go in this quarter, desperately trying to get the ball off and see if they can punch this in for 6 more points before the whistle for halftime sounds. So they have 10 seconds to do so. Line up in the power I formation. Capriva looking, and he finds the open man of Lucas DeBoeuf just out there in the flat, able to bring that pass in. Oop, my apologies. Adam Greiner, the man on the mission there, able to bring that ball in for 6 more points. So right before the halftime buzzer sounded, 3 seconds left, able to complete that pass over the middle and to take a 46-0 lead. So Capriva, the man set to hopefully put this thing right through the uprights, awaits the snap. There it comes. The set is down. And that'll be wide right. So the score will remain at 46-0 for the Red Hawks here. 3 seconds remain in your first half action of the North Mahaska season opener here in Schreier against North Tama. And it looks like North Mahaska will need a little bit more of a money performance in the second half, and a good place that they can go to get that money is U.S. Bank, and they are very helpful, and they get your banking done in a few clicks, so you have time to get more done. You can wake up, stretch, go to meetings, maybe even go to the gym, convince yourself that you like the gym, and then you can make your way on down to U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank checking account with online mobile access allows banking to fit anywhere in your life in your busy day. You can visit a branch or go to usbank.com. U.S. Bank, the power of possible. So know that those last 4 words there, Tim, the power of possible. I think the Warhawks could learn a lot from U.S. Bank here going into halftime. 46-0 as the halftime score. Not what the Warhawks wanted to look up and see, but anything is possible.
That is for sure. I mean, we've seen stranger things happen.
As that is a beautiful kick, and that'll be fielded inside the 5-yard line by Michael DeYoung. Let's see what he can do as he runs into the back end of his own teammate, but is able to shut himself off, makes his way to about the 20-yard line, and is eventually brought down. And as he touches that knee to the ground, we hear the halftime buzzer sound. So coming to a close on this first half here in Schreier, Iowa, it is the Red Hawks that lead the Warhawks of North Mahaska 46-0. So Tim, first half and the things that we've seen so far, get a little bit of live action here.
A little bit of
there we go.
Personal stuff, put faces
there we
to the
go.
names.
Yes, so for all of you listeners just last year, my name is Jack.
This is Tim.
And we are...
I am as handsome as I sound.
you are a dapper dude,
It's a
Tim.
little bit too much face action there. I'm gonna tilt that up.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. So Tim, yes, in that first half action, just with what you saw from the Warhawks on the offensive and defensive side of things, what do you think are going to be some key points to touch on in halftime here for Coach Griffin and his staff so that the Warhawks can ensure a better second half performance?
I just think overall execution, they haven't been doing many things like terribly wrong, I wouldn't say, but overall, just staying with your blocks, just good, keeping hold of the ball. Fumbles have been a terrible point. so far and that one interception. But other than that, I think if they just kind of collect themselves, take a deep breath, and just put those things together and execute their plays, I think they'll have a better time the second half.
And I think that one thing that North Mahaska is struggling with is speed by the Redhawks. It seems like the receivers and the backs there for North Tama are just much quicker than North Mahaska is off that first step. And North Mahaska does have some speed, but they're just getting caught with some frozen feet tonight and they're unable to get that proper coverage or to meet those backs there in the backfield, and that has allowed for a lot of positive gain there for the Redhawks on a lot of their offensive possessions.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. They've executed pretty well, and just overall it seems like they've been one step ahead of the Warhawks the whole game, and hopefully they can just counter that. I mean, you can't make yourselves faster all of a sudden, but you can do little things that prevent that speed from getting to you.
So we'll see what the Warhawks can kind of conjure up in this halftime speech. Phil Griffin and his coaching staff of Sean DeYoung, Brad Steele, and Clay Grandia. Let's see what they can do and what type of motivation and encouragement they can pour into that young Warhawk team in the locker room.
Well, if I know anything about Phil, is that he really knows how to get people fired up. I don't know if that's not always a good thing. I know that much, but he's definitely one for speeches, and he can definitely do a good job of that. So hopefully he gets lots of fire up under him, and hopefully they come out, play some smash around football, finish the second half off good.
Yeah, let's see what they can do. And again, that entire coaching staff of North Mahaska, all first year. I mean, Phil Griffin is no stranger to the junior high scene for the North Mahaska Warhawk football teams, but yeah, stepping up to that high school varsity level, at least in my lifetime, I don't believe that's something that I've seen before.
Yeah, I'm not very old, obviously, so I haven't seen too much when it comes to the sport of high school football, especially North Mahaska. But I do know that it's not very common for this to happen. But one good thing that comes from it is Phil is familiar with these players. It's not like a new guy coming in who doesn't know him. He doesn't have to build that relationship. He already knows them. They respect him, trust him. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not speaking for everybody, but they definitely already have that relationship, and it's more familiar that he's a friend already. They can, instead of learning to know each other, they can just get right to it and get to playing football.
Yes, and Phil Griffin is such a friendly face and such a warm smile in the community of New Sharon, and I think throwing him onto the coaching staff of the varsity football team here, I think that is something that a lot of people that have relationships with Phil and have built that connection over years, that is something that maybe having a son in high school, that gives them a lot of comfort that if their child wants to go out for football and to be on that team, that they are being placed into the hands of somebody that you can trust.
Yep, they can definitely trust Phil. I mean, he's a good guy, and like I said, parents know him, everybody knows him. And he's never given me a reason to not trust him, besides the fact that he's like a diehard Chiefs fan. But other than that, I mean, he's a solid guy, and it really helps having those key influencers on, especially these small town communities, such as North Mahaska and New Sharon.
Absolutely. And the other three men that joined him on that sideline, Sean DeYoung, Brad Steele, and Clay Grandia, all have sons of their own on this football team. Clay Grandia with two sons, Trent, a senior, and Chase.
Yep.
Chase, a sophomore, and we talked about Chase earlier, making an awesome open field tackle there. Again, just a young sophomore, but was able to kind of chip in there on some damage defensively. And then Brad Steele with a young son, Braden, a standout basketball player, in his daughter Cassidy, a senior this year. And we will see North Mahaska, the girls team, able to touch the state floor again after 6 years of kind of some silence there, but coming out of their hiatus and able to be one of the final 8 teams in Class 1A on that Wells Fargo floor. So we'll see what the Warhawk ladies can conjure up in the wintertime and see if they can find themselves back underneath those bright lights there. And then Sean DeYoung, we've talked about his son Michael. Michael being a special teams receiver there for the Warhawks, fielding a lot of the kickoff returns for North Mahaska, and able to do a pretty good job. Again, Michael, not very old, not very big, but doesn't look like he is afraid to run straight into the heart of North Tama and the Redhawks that are swarming him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Michael's shown a lot of ferocity tonight. That's very well, and just a lot of these players, a lot of them are young, so that's another factor you got to make note of when you have young players like this, and a team they're starting to learn each other, starting to learn how it works. It's a little bit of an adaptation from 8th grade football. I'm not saying that it's not the same physicality. Well, actually, I am saying it's not the same physicality. So, yeah, I mean, it just helps. Helps having a lot of good core player. Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't think about that one, but it helps having those core people that they know they can trust, and it helps build their relationships. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, so it looks like, so Hunter and I, sorry, who's Hunter?
This is weird.
This is Tim.
I don't know who to look at.
This is Tim.
Yep.
You can look at the camera here. Say hi to all the people.
Hello, my name is Tim.
All three of them that are tuning in live to listen.
Yep. Hi.
Thank you for being faithful.
Hi,
maybe
Grandma and Mom.
Maybe if you're watching from the comfort of your own home, your garage, your backyard, or maybe you're even standing on a bridge in Des Moines, thank you for tuning in right now and watching this broadcast of the North Mahaska Warhawks and their first game of the 2019 campaign, as they are in Trader right now taking on the North Tama Redhawks. But so Tim and I here, we do some volunteer work for the North Mahaska Athletic Departments, supervising the weight room for the school, and we do morning sessions, we do evening sessions, and last year was kind of the kickoff for that entire program to see if we can promote a little bit more availability for the weight room to the athletes. And I would take Tuesday morning slots, and I think maybe out of the 15 or 20 Tuesday mornings that I spent in the weight room, I maybe saw 1 or 2 kids total. So there was a lot of lonely mornings spent in the North Mahaska weight room. But this year, I went in for my first Tuesday morning this week, and there was about 12 football players in there just trying to work on themselves, trying to get better, and trying to get stronger. And so I think as we see a little bit more of that heart displayed by these young players, and they continue to pour into themselves, to pour into this program, and to just do what they can to devote themselves to making themselves better, then I think we can see kind of a little bit better of a product here that North Mahaska puts on the field.
Yeah, definitely. That has been a great improvement. I've been in there a lot of afternoons where I originally, especially last year, I hadn't expected to see too much traffic, but there's been multiple days where there's been 10 or more kids in there, which is great to see. I mean, you got to start in the weight room. That's a lot of great people told me, and they've really been putting in a lot of work trying to get that physicality up. I mean, I've seen a lot of improvements. Most of them are definitely stronger than when they started out, and thanks to William Penn has helped us out with a lot of that.
Absolutely.
Have definitely helped with form, helped that in flexibility, mobility. It's really improved, and yeah, it's just been great to see.
Yeah, and I think that's another cool thing to see is North Mahaska building a great relationship and connection with William Penn there in Oskaloosa, and William Penn sending down some of their athletic trainers to help better our athletes too. So to see the interaction between the high schoolers and the college kids is something that I think the college kids can be really good mentors for them, especially since a lot of them are college athletes. Some of them coming from the corners of the world just to be at William Penn and to play their respective sport there, and to just see them pour into the high school kids there in North Mahaska is something that I think is not only cool to see, but it is a great benefit for those young athletes too.
Yeah, it definitely helps them see that the little stuff will help them in the long run. A lot of those athletes started lifting when they were younger. I know they've trying to stress getting younger kids kind of introduced to it so they're not as scared. No, I mean, more people in there, more welcoming faces, really getting the comfort to it. Because when you're a 7th, 8th grade kid, you don't want, you walk into the weight room sometime and you see those older 16, 17, 18-year-old people, and they got a lot of weight on there, and you feel intimidated by it. But they just want to know they've done a lot with helping young kids really get in there and really get comfortable with the situation and the idea of weightlifting, and that's going to help them in the long run. And they really have a strong focus on introducing the young kids, which I think is good, because the sooner you start, I mean, the higher you can go, the later in your high school career at least, and even college. If they're wanting to be college athletes, it really helps to start young. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think athletics are a lot like Colgate toothpaste. It's
How so?
It's what you put into that tube, you will get out of it. So I think as you see a lot of kids pouring in some time kind of off the field, and then we will start to see a little bit more volume, a little bit more power behind those athletes. And, maybe if they practice good hygiene, maybe they'll be smelling minty fresh too.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting way to put it. I'm more of a crest guy, to be perfectly honest. But
We didn't talk about this.
We talk about what?
What kind of Crest? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Crest.
It's Colgate.
No, it's not, dude. I don't
Colgate has tartar
I
control.
don't do Colgate, man. It's just I don't like. Nothing's good about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have to excuse my partner. We've known each other for a long time, but I think it shows that no matter how many hours you spend either playing World of Outlaws sprint cars on a PlayStation 3 or playing basketball in your driveway, you truly might not know every single thing about a person.
I mean, I thought that was just a given. Quality toothpaste. I thought it was a given that I use quality toothpaste. I just figured Jack would too, but he's coming out here with his Colgate stuff. Like, I guess. I mean, sometimes strangers make good company, though.
They do. Strangers do make good company a lot. And so it looks like we have about 5 minutes left in this halftime here. So we're going to real quick just send a small little shout out to all of our sponsors, all of those people who have chosen to support the North Mahaska Warhawk broadcast. And I think there's no one more fitting to start off this halftime. And that's Phil Griffin with American Family Insurance in Oskaloosa. You can find the right protection at American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, repeat that again, insure carefully while you dream fearlessly. And if you're looking to insure carefully and dream fearlessly, then please give Phil Griffin at American Family Insurance in Oskaloosa a call, and he will ensure that all of your wildest dreams will come true.
Boyd's U.S. Cellular is also a big sponsor. We talked about them earlier. I got this nice iPhone XR here.
A little bit of a plug.
Yeah, thank you, Boyd's. Boyd's U.S. Cellular is your local authorized U.S. Cellular agent in New Sharon and Grinnell. They'll help you get the best deal in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere. I can confirm this because New Sharon is pretty much in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah, I get service all the time.
U.S. Cellular, strong supporters, strong service. You put those two together, you're living your best life, Tim.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that.
So speaking of living your best life, there's been a couple times where, I haven't had time to prepare my nightly bowl of cereal. Reese's Puffs, the bag was empty.
Oh,
Maybe
Reese's Puffs too?
Reese's Puffs.
What are you talking about? You're not on, what about Fruity Pebbles?
Peanut butter chocolate flavor, man.
Dude, I mean, I get it. They're good, but you could have plugged something a little bit better in there. Fruity Pebbles?
Fruity Pebbles, it's okay, but it depends on what I'm in the mood for.
Which should be Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles. Oh, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like the differences are only expanding here, but it's okay. It's okay. We're civil. We're gentlemen.
Good people.
Yep. So we're not going to let our indifference of toothpaste brand or cereal brand step in between us.
Yeah, but as he was saying, if you have no time to make dinner, you better stop by East Market Grocery and Deli. They got fresh cut meats, Hunt Brothers Pizza. Great,
Yee.
might I add. Or they also have homemade dinners that are ready to take out and heat up. You can get some lasagna I've seen in there before.
Handballs.
Good. Do they got handballs in there?
They got handballs and cheesy potatoes.
That is great. They also have cakes and homemade pies. Small town grocery store with the big town selection. That's East Market Grocery in New Sharon. Always good. Always good.
Always good, and you can count on that 100% of the time. They will take care of you, and they will make sure that you are also taken care of well. So not only are their dinners, top notch, but Tim, I'm sorry, you just can't beat the prices too for the mega-sized ball of meat that I got.
Yeah,
it was phenomenal.
I've never seen it, but I sure that you're probably right in your I don't know what I'm trying to say.
My
right
speculations.
Now. Yeah, in your idea.
Mm-hmm. And just real quick, for all you viewers at home, note he just told me I was right. So,
yep.
Off to a good start here in the second half.
He's very right.
Yes, and believe me, if you're cruising down Highway 92, coming from like the Highway 163, and you're going right into the belly of Oskaloosa, make sure you take a right to go to Penn Central Mall, and you can go visit Dr. Jim Else and his little family at Eye Care Partners at the Penn Central Mall. They are dedicated to providing comprehensive, quality eye care to their patients, and Penn Central Eye Care offers exams, an extensive selection of eyewear, and cataract and LASIK assessments and follow-up assistance. For all of your eyeball needs, contact Dr. Jim Ellis at the Eye Care Partners in the Penn Central Mall. They're in good old Oskaloosa.
I mean, you can't beat it. Another one of our sponsors is Hardee's. I like to say that Hardee's, if you haven't had one of their breakfast sandwiches with the biscuits, you really should, because you're missing out, and that's just one of the better things in the world. But Hardee's wishes everyone a happy and healthy playing season this year. And tune into the Hardee's football preview show on KIIC Fridays at 7 a.m., which is live from the Hardee's in Albia.
Woo-hoo.
Definitely a good recap.
So as it looks like both teams have taken the field, and we are ready to kick off our third quarter action. So North Mahaska will send the ball off. It'll be fielded at about the 15-yard line by, it looks like, Skylar Stacker. And he is tripped up a little bit, but is able to keep his feet underneath him and gets a gain of about another 7 or 8 yards. So Skylar Stacker. Whoop.
Stacker. What
Staker,
do you got?
Stalker.
Come on, man.
Cracker Cracker. With a good little return there. So that'll give North Tama excellent field position to kick off this third quarter. Again, North Tama leading 46-0, and unless North Mahaska, kind of kicks it into high gear here, we will see continuous clock throughout the rest of the action tonight. Stacker with a short little screen pass over there to Capriva, and he will be shoved out of bounds and wrapped up by the number 32 of Drake Hall. Drake Hall, a freshman at North Mahaska. Took a little open field tackle there by the young buck. But a gain of about 7 yards on the play. So 2nd and 3 here for North Tama. Ball on their own 48-yard line. Stacker lines up in the shotgun, takes the snap, trying to scramble to find some room to go, and he sits there and it looks like he's playing Dance Dance Revolution there with how rapidly he's moving his feet, but he is able to find just a little bit of breathing room up the middle, and good enough for a first down. So Stacker able to kind of gather his composure a little bit there and to get just enough so that they can get a fresh set of downs here.
He really looked like what's his name, Corbin Blue in the old High School Musical. Not that I've ever watched that in my entire life. I just happen to know.
Oh, but you know what? He's taken Corbin Blue's advice because he's got his head in the game.
That is for sure. He's been making a lot of good plays, such as the one he just made, dumping the ball off there to
Capriva.
Yep.
A sophomore there for the Redhawks. So a nice little gain there by North Tama of about 4 yards. So that'll bring them across the 45-yard line. So they will line up at the North Mahaska 43, 2nd and 6 here for North Tama. 9:45 to go in third quarter action. Again, we see North Tama lining up in that shotgun formation. Stacker dumps a little screen pass out to the number 29 of Tayton Payne. Tayton Payne with a nice little grab there, able to get his way up the field. Good enough. Should be good enough for potentially a first down here. Yep, as we see the chain gang boot scooting boogieing down.
Yep, they're definitely getting their workout in.
They are. North Tama ensuring that the chain gang is not falling asleep over there tonight. So again, North Tama here, shotgun formation, Stacker. Looks like Weber lines up to his left. Takes the snap, hands off, and it looks like he makes a cut back to the left side of the field, is dancing around defenders, sheds off a couple tackles, and is on his way to the races before being brought down by Ethan Molenberg and Sam Terpstra. So all the way down to the 21-yard line, Weber doing a little bit of a counter there, taking a handoff, going to the right side, but then cutting back to the left, able to shed a couple tackles, and got his way past the far yard marker and gave North Tama a fresh set of downs here.
Yeah, I hope the 23 there of Weber, I hope he runs track, because he's definitely got a pair of legs on him.
He does.
I wish I could run that fast.
Remember, Tim. Ensure carefully, dream fearlessly.
That's what I do every day.
Oh, Stacker on the carry there. Wrapped up by the number 13 for North Mahaska. And that looks to be Chase Grandia. Again, sophomore there for the Warhawks, making a nice little wrap up, but Stacker able to get a pretty healthy gain there on that play, gain of about 7 yards. So 2nd and 3 for North Tama, and they line up on about the North Mahaska 15-yard line. Shotgun formation we see. Stacker waiting the snap, gets it, and he will hand it off to the number 28. Stacker will hand off to the number 28 of Luke Pennell. Good little gain, but we do see a penalty marker down on the field here. So we'll wait the call from the officials to see what the laundry is all about.
Don't want to have a return of the old Kerry Underwood dirty laundry from last football season there.
I think both teams have done a pretty good job of keeping Kerry quiet.
Yeah, it has definitely been a very, very clean football game. Got to applaud that from both teams. Not a whole lot of laundry has showed up, so that's always something we can appreciate.
Well, Kerry will be playing the wrong sport here because I believe she took a Louisville Slugger to both headlights, and that's baseball, Tim. So maybe Kerry Underwood, doesn't have room in football.
Yeah, maybe I've been using the wrong analogy.
Analogy?
Hey, looks like you're not the only one who messes up words live on radio.
It's all good, man. Again, civil.
Yep, we're good. That will bring us to another North Tama touchdown there, Jack, I believe. I'm not sure who's carrying the ball. There's a sea of red right now.
North Tama punching in for 6 more points here.
The Warhawks definitely seem to be breaking down a little bit, and that's not good to see. Hopefully they can turn it around a little bit. I mean, you never want to see anybody give up, but that just seems
They need to wipe that brow. They need to sweat their rust, and they need to get back into action here. So that one is up. And it looks like he put the Y there in the MCA as that one made its way through the uprights. So a successful extra point attempt there by North Tama, and that'll bring the score to 53-0.
I got a feeling his leg is going to be a little bit sore tomorrow because he's been doing more kicking than any normal kicker should.
So we'll see. We'll see if he'll put that right leg to rest tonight, or if it still needs to be a well-oiled machine later on down the stretch here for the Red Hawks.
Yeah, I mean, for the Warhawks' sake, you hope that things go the other way around, but it's hard telling. I mean, it's an unplayed game. They're responsible of that on the field, and we're just calling it how it is, or trying to call it how it is, I should say.
So the cheerleaders for North Tama getting their workout in there. As you can see, they are on their 48th jumping jack. Not only are the football boys making sure that the chain gang gets their workout in, but they're making sure that those cheerleaders are able to exercise that heart rate too.
Yeah, looks like the football players out on the field aren't the only people that are getting a good sweat in tonight, Jack.
Definitely not.
I think if I was the cheerleaders at this point, I'd quit cheering because I don't know if I'd want to be doing more jumping jacks. It seems a little bit counterintuitive.
If they quit cheering, then I couldn't think of any other place for them to go that would be better than Craig Ford there in Oskaloosa. Craig Ford is ready to meet and exceed your high expectations in your car shopping quest. Check out their online inventory, investigate financing options, and use their car finder to be notified when a matching car arrives. And you can find all of that at craigford.com. So it looks like North Mahaska there.
Pretty
on
decent
that return
there by the 20 of
number 20, so that'd be the number 20 of Michael DeYoung.
Michael DeYoung proven again that he is a valuable asset on special teams, bringing the ball out to the 29 or 28-ish, looks like. Very good return on the Warhawks' part there to see if they can put together a strong drive, maybe get a little bit of yardage out.
So it seems like Michael DeYoung being the popular target there on all of those kickoff returns. And, with all that practice that he's been getting tonight, able to kind of finally get a little bit better of a feel for it, dig his heel in, and to get some pretty good momentum there for the Warhawks as they will take over on their own 30-yard line. Dylan Klinker lines up power I formation. Hayden Jones as fullback. Matthew Gumot taking the handoff there. Gets a gain of about 2 yards on the play. So a nice little steady stroll there for Matthew Gumat. So there's 6 minutes left in this third quarter. North Tama still with a 53-0 lead. And Tim, this is something that we haven't really talked about, but it was about an hour 20, hour and a half drive all the way here to Trayer. But we look across at the opposing stands, and it doesn't look like between the parents there is one spot open.
Yeah, I mean, that's one good thing about the Warhawks. No matter how the season goes or what happens, what rain or shine, there's always a good following from the Warhawks, and that's again that sense of family we got, that sort of community that we talked about when we were discussing the coaches. I mean, we're always supporting each other, and I think that's one of the best parts about the Warhawk Nation.
Let's see, yep, you can see the bleachers there of parents and students here supporting their Warhawks. And something new that we haven't really seen is, just in the left of your screen there, you see the North Mahaska band trailer. What could that band trailer be doing here in Trayer? Oh, yeah. Providing a marching band. North Mahaska looks like their marching band taking looks like as North Mahaska's band trailer took a stroll all the way up here. Dylan Klinker was taking a nice Sunday afternoon stroll to the left side of the field, trying to survey his options, and as he was in the midst of his findings, North Tama quickly met him, the ball popping out of Dylan Klinker's hand and rolling on the ground, recovered by North Tama. Oh, my apologies. Ball rolling out of bounds. So North Mahaska will still have possession here. They're facing a 4th and long.
Yeah, another very close call for the Warhawks. They're really lucky that the ball just happened to cross that line. I know we've had issues with fumbles in the past, and it doesn't seem to be.
Sean Knockle getting a low snap there and trying to recover it, and he is trying to go off to the races, and he finds himself to the left sideline, but gets stopped at about the 19-yard line. So North Tama will take over, just a short 19 yards to go. See 3:53 to go in this third quarter. North Tama came out, put their foot on the gas pretty early, and Tim, they haven't really let up since.
No, they definitely came out swinging, and they've been, like I said, they've been driving it home so far, just pushing, and they've definitely been a well-oiled machine. They're kind of like a 1993 Chevy Silverado.
Yeah. A nice well-oiled machine. But if you're feeling a little rusty, and you feel like you're not performing at your tip-top performance there, from the birth of your baby to your surgery, from emergency situations to elective healthcare services, and all the sore throats, bumps, and bruises along the way, Mahaska Health Partnership is there for you. And if you wake up sick, Mahaska Health Primary Care now provides same-day appointments starting at 7:30 a.m. on a first-come, first-served basis in Oskaloosa. Tell you what, we talked about earlier, but that's convenience, Tim.
That is like the literal definition of convenience. Just as Nutrient Ag Solutions is the leading agricultural retailer of crop inputs and solutions. If you're looking for top-of-the-line nutrients, let the staff of Nutrient Ag Solutions and New Sharon help you with your bottom line. Definitely good. Another good local business there. They've always been very supportive of North Mahaska athletics and just activities in general.
And the bottom line is that you will not find any other service that is better than Nutrient Ag Solution in their respective field. So it's like a run right up the middle there for North Tama, met by Logan Shipley and Sam Terpstra, bringing them down, but a nice about 5-yard gain there for the Redhawks. So 2nd and 5. For the Redhawks here. They'll take the field, lining up in, it looks like North Tama giving a little bit of a facelift to their offensive production here, as we now have the number 12. Maybe not the number 12.
Maybe you're mistaken.
Looks like maybe the number 15. The number 15 of Brecken Payne. Now the man kind of in control there for North Tama, lining up in that quarterback position. So North Tama kind of clearing their bench here, giving the younger kids some experience on this football field. And with 2:30 to go here in the third quarter, if the coaches choose to keep this lineup in for the rest of the game, these kids are going to get a fair share of experience. So North Tama also finding themselves in a commanding lead, could be finding themselves in a positive situation here for the rest of their season. So the number 17 of Devin McKinley doing a little bit of a fake handoff there to Brecken Payne, scrolling to the left side of the field, and he was untouchable, Tim.
Yeah, he definitely had a pretty easy time getting there in the end zone. Not a whole lot of people around him, and a good athletic play.
So North Tama, even without their Mega Man Skylar Stacker, still able to kind of confuse the North Mahaska defense there and to punch their way in for 6 more. So short play clock here, 2 seconds left. They get the ball off. Excellent play there by Devin McKinley. And he will fake the handoff, and he will make his way in for the 2-point conversion. So McKinley, his life on the football field is rather short in this game, but already putting in a combined 8 points of his own. So North Tama, with that touchdown and that successful 2-point conversion, now hold a 61-0 lead here in this third quarter. 2 minutes and 13 seconds left. This is great practice for North Tama on the offensive side of things, to kind of get some new fresh guys in there and to see just what they're capable of and build their experience. But Tim, I think it's also kind of a good opportunity for North Mahaska here too. Maybe they can get some young guys in there as well on the offensive side of the ball, or maybe even the defensive, and that they can just start to gain this experience, because North Mahaska in the last few years has experienced a lot of young talent on their teams. And while we're seeing, sophomores and juniors, key players like Dylan Klinker and Matthew Gumat and Logan Shipley, those kids that have that experience, kind of take control and to step into that leadership role for North Mahaska. It all started when they were freshmen, when they were sophomores, Tim. So it took that experience as a young player to kind of build them up, to give them that character level where they can step in and they can be a good example and a good leader to this Warhawk team. So a lot of young kids on that sideline for North Mahaska, but getting them that experience when they're young underneath these Friday night lights can translate to hopefully a lot more success in the future. So that one is fielded by Michael DeYoung at about the 15-yard line, and he makes his way up for about a 10-yard gain before he is met and brought down. So North Mahaska, 2:02 left in this third quarter, will take over at their own 25-yard line, as we will see Dylan Klinker make his way back onto the field. We'll see if he is the man in command here.
Yeah, well, another thing to add with that comment you made earlier about how the young players getting a lot of reps, it also helps out in a lot of these situations when, especially in the last couple of years, have been very injury-ridden. A lot of missing players, and that really helps fill in those blanks when it comes to depth chart changes or issues such as injuries, such as absence.
And North Mahaska has already seen just 3 injuries alone in this game tonight, Tim.
Yeah, it's definitely been not very smooth as far as health is concerned. But like I said, when you get a lot of fresh new twists and turns with your hips and your knees and everything, it doesn't take much to get a little bit of pain or discomfort.
So if you're experiencing a little bit of pain, maybe in that jaw area, then you can go to the high-tech dental office that is there for you. And you can join the Oski Dental family. They will take the headaches out of dealing with your insurance. They have a team member exclusively assigned to help you navigate your insurance plan. Tell Dr. Schuster you heard it on Thunder Country Radio to receive a free dental screening. Restrictions apply. Oski Dental. They make smiles happen. Tim, I think that's one thing that we could all use a little bit more of in our lives is a smile.
Yeah, I mean, I smile all the time, but
I try to smile. Smiling is my favorite. Dylan Klinker looking downfield, trying to hit his receiver, Sam Terpstra, who is about 15 yards upfield, throwing it just a little bit low. Sam Terpstra not able to make the dig there. So North Mahaska will reset. 2nd and 10, 1:25 to go in this third quarter. And I think right now I'm Dylan Klinker, I'm using the time left in this game, in this contest, to kind of figure himself out a little bit more in this role. I mean, obviously that was something that he stepped into last year, being the quarterback for the Warhawks. But you know, it's a new year. It's the first game of the season. Dylan Klinker taking the shotgun, trying to roll out to the right side of the field, and making his way out of bounds, avoiding a big charge there of red jerseys. So Dylan Klinker, and one thing that we haven't really talked about, but should be noted, is the speed that Dylan Klinker has. Last year, once Dylan Klinker got just a sniff of fresh air, he was able to take that puppy and run with it.
Yeah, he pulled out a lot of big plays last year, being a very big, 50-yard run playmaker.
Yes, and Dylan Klinker, again, not another big one there for North Mahaska, standing at 5'8" and 155 pounds. So he drops back, and he looks down the field, trying to hit his receiver of the number 15, that is Joel Davis, a senior there for the Warhawks. Dylan Klinker looked downfield, saw Joel cutting over the middle, but was just unable to complete the pass, and Joel Davis feeling a little bit of frustration on that. But nevertheless, that brings this third quarter to an end. North Mahaska trailing North Tama 61-0. So North Mahaska, with only 12 minutes left in this one, they have a prime opportunity to figure things out offensively and to hopefully see and figure out what works for them in ways that they can kind of capitalize on these things, so that with the remaining 7 games that they have on the schedule, they can make the most out of it and they can maximize every possession.
Yeah, they definitely gives them the opportunity to build onto their team. Help build everyone up, just like the Proline Building Company of New Sharon is helping to build your dreams with the best building systems available. Quality sales and service, Proline can be trusted to help build your dreams. So, if you want anything done, doesn't matter. There's no job that's too big or small. Call Proline; they'll help you out. Proline also being a big supporter of the New Sharon activities, not just North Mahaska. Little league teams, they do it all. Really good sponsor. Great to have them on board.
Yes, and so thank you, Proline, for all of your generous contributions to help make these broadcasts possible for all of our listeners at home throughout this 2019 North Mahaska Warhawk football season. But if you find yourself at home, a high snap there, Sean Knackle not able to get on it, trying to dig his way out of that mess, grabbing the ball inside the 5-yard line, not having much room to go, and just getting swallowed up there by the Redhawks. So North Tama will take over on about the North Mahaska 4 or 3 yard line. So Tim, if you're North Tama right now, you almost couldn't ask for better field advantage right now.
No, it doesn't get easier than that, Jack. That was a very tough break for North Mahaska there, and yeah, you can't really complain about being right there. It doesn't take much. On
that snap, there was just a little too much meat, but hey, if you enjoy a good burger or a good chunk of meat, then you can make your way down to Scooter's Pub and Grub. It is a small town restaurant with the best food around. Prime rib special on the weekends, and they are famous for their tenderloins and homemade onion rings. Their beef is always fresh, never frozen, and hand cut. They have live bands, 3 pool tables, and shuffleboard, open Tuesday through Saturday in New Sharon.
Yes, Scooter's a very good sponsor. So is Style Me Crazy Salon and Boutique. Ladies, would you like to shop for affordable women's clothing? If so, then hurry into Style Me Crazy Boutique in New Sharon. You will find trendy women's wear and accessories, new ladies' clothing arriving daily. Style Me Crazy Boutique, open Tuesday through Saturday, right on Main Street in New Sharon.
And Main Street is where everything is happening there in New Sharon. You have U.S. Bank. They're on the corner of Main Street, and they are a bank that is focused on serving you best. They get your banking done in just a few clicks, so you have time to get more done. Like wake up, maybe stretch, do some morning Pilates. Hopefully you stay away from that extreme yoga. You can go to meetings, you can go to the gym, or maybe if you like to spend a lot of time thinking, you'll have plenty of time to convince yourself that you might like going to the gym. Nevertheless, a U.S. banking checking account, you can do that with mobile access, and it allows banking to fit in your life. Visit a branch, or you can go to usbank.com. US Bank, the power of possible. The power of possible. Thank you for making this broadcast possible. US Bank, you can find a branch there in New Sharon. Is it a handoff there? North Tama trying to go right into the belly of the beast, but getting spit up and thrown back on the ground there, so that attempt unsuccessful.
One might say regurgitated.
Regurgitated.
Scientific words.
I was thinking about regurgitated, but they didn't really swallow him, Tim.
I guess you could say that. I mean, but it sounded like it.
Hey, regurgitation. It's big words on this Friday, but Tim, it's the first game of the year. Do you think that we're kind of licensed to be using such big words already?
I don't know. I think we should have the option to use big words whenever we feel like it, but, maybe we should just ease into it. Not all the viewers are ready. They don't want a serious
Woo!
English lesson.
Ball getting blown dead there, as that was a handoff to the number 43 of Michael Schreier, a freshman there for North Tama, and the play blown dead. So North Tama will try again, in the official telling us false start there for North Tama. So they'll get another try here. So 8:46 to go in this fourth quarter. North Tama 61-0 is their advantage. And Tim, we're still in the beginning of the season, but beautiful weather tonight. Couldn't ask for a better night to sit underneath these lights and watch some Iowa high school football.
Yeah, it's definitely perfect. Like, it doesn't get better than this. I don't care where you're from. You can say you're from Florida. Oh, weather's perfect. You can say you're from California. It's great out here. You should be from Iowa. But it doesn't get better than this. Friday night football, perfect Iowa. Just the crispness, not Christmas.
Crispness.
Not the holiday Christmas, the crispness. Crisp. With the P on there. Yeah, crispness of the air. It's unparalleled no matter where you go. It doesn't get better than this.
Iowa, right in the breadbasket of America. Could imagine being anywhere else, Tim.
Nope, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd want to be anywhere else. If I was, I'd probably be miserable.
I agree. So we'll see North Tama here. Turnover on downs, so North Mahaska will take over on their own 5-yard line. 7:35 to go in this fourth quarter. And Dylan Klinker, I think, talked about kind of him being the nucleus of the entire North Mahaska football operation. And it's very important, Tim, that despite the scoreboard, he keeps his chin up.
Yeah, he's definitely, there's no sense in getting all upset about anything. He's definitely got to still execute, even though it is late in the game. He's got to keep his hopes up, just keep working, and, keep that train rolling.
The offensive line there for North Mahaska, I think just the work that they did on that last play could be described as Michael Strahan's front teeth, because they provided a gap that Matthew Gumat was able to just run through and get a nice little gain on the play, a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. So that'll be 2nd and 5 for North Mahaska now.
Let's hope they can keep it up, 3.3 yards at a time.
6:45 to go in this ball game. Dylan Klinker running around, trying to make his way around, but he is met by 2 North Tama defenders, and he is brought down. But a gain of about 2 yards on the play, so Dylan Klinker, good job there, trying to at least make something out of that situation, and was able to rack up a couple yards on that one. So 6:20 to go now in this ball game.
Yeah, you just got to keep going with it, and they seem to be still trying to put that effort out there, and they've been pushing back. They may take their lives, but they'll never take their freedom. I can tell you that much, Jack.
That is right.
Mel Gibson said that one time.
US of A. Bay. Dylan Klinker lines up under center, power I formation, pitches it out to the number 8 of Matthew Gumat. Matthew Gumat running to the far right side of the field and gets a pretty nice block that allows him to get some positive yards there. And Matthew Gumat breaking through that tackle and gets enough for a first down. So Matthew Gumat receiving the pitch from Dylan Klinker, running to the right side of the field, and a nice block out there in the open field. Matthew Gumat just getting a little bit more room to breathe and was able to take it and make something happen.
That's always good.
5:20 to go here in this fourth quarter. North Mahaska 1st and 10 on their own 15-yard line. Dylan Klinker, power I formation, drops back, surveying the field, see if he can find somebody. He has a man wide open over the middle of the field. That is the number 15
Joel Davis.
of Joel Davis. And Joel Davis was able to bring that ball in, but he was playing baseball in that one, fielded a grounder, ball was hit, or ball was thrown a little too low for him, and that one will fall incomplete. So North Mass will try again on this one, 2nd and 10, just under 5 minutes to go in this contest. I mean, at this pace, Tim, with this continuous clock, the game is going to be over before we know it, and so I think it's important that North Mahaska, with the few snaps that they have left, that they try to do as much as they can and as best as they can with each snap that they have. So Dylan Klinker, power I formation, we see it, drops back, trying to pass, finds Joel Davis over the middle, and he is met by 3 Red Hawks on that play. One of them is the number 43 there of Michael Schreier. So the freshman there able to help contribute to that stop there, but a nice pass completed over the middle, good enough for a first down. So Dylan Klinker, I mean, it's a short pass, gained about 10, 11 yards, but a completed pass is a completed pass, and something small like that can do a world of wonder there for somebody's confidence, Tim.
Yeah, he's definitely been, even the play before that didn't quite make it there, he's been close, and they've been getting pretty good passing looks, and he's been doing well.
So he'll again pitch it out to Matthew Gumont, right side of the field. Matthew surveying to see where he can run so that he can get as much real estate as possible, and he gets about 8 yards worth of it there, following some nice blocks, and he is brought down. So North Mahaska, 2nd and 2, 3:30 to go in this game, and you know it's short, not a whole lot of time left on that clock, but maybe enough time, Tim, that that North Mahaska can put maybe 6 or 7 points of their own up on the board.
Yeah, I mean, you can't put anything past them. The way this has been going, they've had some decent momentum, and you know, just that effort to get on the scoreboard.
So hopefully 3 minutes left here in this one. Dylan Klinker lining up his Warhawks. A pitch out to Hayden Jones. Hayden Jones has a nice field of blocking ahead of him, and he gets across the 50-yard line and is brought down. So Hayden Jones following a phenomenal line of blocking there from his Warhawks and was able to get a nice gain on the play, but we do see a yellow flag there in the back. We are awaiting the call on the official to see if North Mahaska will be brought back on this one here.
Hopefully with this momentum they've been kind of, you know, creating, that hopefully it's no big deal. And the ref looked to have
signaled a holding call on North Mahaska there. So Hayden Jones, although it was a phenomenal run, and it was well executed, just that a silly little mistake there can erase that and can bring him even 10 yards back further. So we'll see North Mahaska what they can do. 2:45 left in this game. North Tama with a 61-0 lead.
I just wanted to put this out there for our viewers. We do not take any kind of bribes or solicitation, so you can quit texting me and telling me to do certain things. We are not like that, and KIIC is definitely not like that, so we don't want to hear it.
So we'll see if Dylan Klinker can give us something that we like to hear here as he pitches it off to Matthew Gumont. Matthew Gumont breaking several tackles on his way up across the 40-yard line. So a nice gain there by Matthew Gumont, taking the pitch, running to the right side, and able to get a very healthy gain there. So North Mahaska 1st and 10 on their own 42-yard line, but 2 minutes left in this one, Tim. If they're looking to put points of their own up on the board, they need to act fast.
Yeah, they definitely got to pull out one of those big plays, maybe a little flea flicker action. That always worked on Madden. I mean, I don't know if that's in their repertoire or whatever that's called.
Ooh,
I
didn't know you were French.
I mean, when it comes to some things, I'm definitely probably French. But
like
Matthew Gumont on the carry there.
You're a big fan of the fries.
Yeah, I like their fries. I like toast, especially from France. French toast is good. That might be it, but I don't know. There's probably some other French thing that I like. But
Napoleon
let's
Dynamite.
not talk about that. Let's talk about Warhawk football. As Matthew Gumont with a great carry for the Warhawks there, looked to pick up about 6 or 7. I think it's more on the side of 6, but a good carry nonetheless.
So North Mahaska will, when they snap the ball, it'll be just about a minute left, so they will be good for just about 2 more possessions. So they'll again turn to Matthew Gumot on the pitch here. Matthew Gumot finding a nice line of blockers, able to get another first down. So Matthew Gumot is, you know, when he has that time and he can kind of survey and see what is happening ahead of him, he's able to get a good gain there, Tim. And we've seen that a lot kind of on this drive here for the Warhawks. If he gets a lot of time and he gets a good collection of blocking there in front of him, then he can make the most out of it.
Yeah, Matt Gumot doing very, very well at following his blocks there and using that to his advantage.
So Matthew Gumot now will line up in the fullback position. Dylan Klinker under center and Hayden Jones in the backfield. They run a pitch to Hayden Jones on the left side, trying to find as many blocks as he can, and he will be brought down at about the 36-yard line as we have less than 15 seconds to go, 10 seconds on the clock. That looks to be potentially the final play for North Mahaska. So the clock will tick out on this one as the horn sounds, and this week 1 matchup between North Mahaska and North Tama will come to a close as North Mahaska loses the Battle of the Birds 61-0.
Yeah, very, very tough break for North Mahaska. A lot of issues. Let it be known, it is the first game of the season, so there some of those things they will know that they need to work on in practice, and they will polish up a little bit and clean those issues. But yeah, just a tough break. Not how you want to start the season, but we'll see how they turn around from here.
But for North Tama, just a phenomenal performance by Skylar Stacker, Gabe Capriva, Adam Greiner, even doing a little bit of contributing there too. The number 23 of Noah Weber, the running back for them. I think all 4 of those guys, and I mean, as well as all the others that were able to take the field and to chip in any way that they could, they were just big key factors for North Tama tonight. And North Mahaska, although they do have kind of some seasoned leadership, just weren't able to kind of get all wheels turning and to get all hands on deck, and they turned out to be just kind of a handful for North Mahaska.
Yeah, definitely congratulations to the North Tama team. They seem to have put together a great. I was going to say great offense, but they performed well on both sides of the ball. Like I said, those key players being a good influence, but also having a strong line to let those backs really do their work. And they put together a good team and a good performance tonight. And so congratulations to them on their first win of the season. That's how everyone wants to start out. And hopefully North Mahaska can fix a few things and get on the right track.
Yeah, and North Mahaska will have 7 more games to try to figure out that track. Hopefully they get the wheel spinning a little bit sooner. So as they maybe reach that 3rd or 4th game of the year, they found some nice consistency. They've settled into kind of this pocket, and they're able to function as a team, that they can establish a lot of good chemistry, and that everybody on their team knows their role.
Yeah, they definitely get to that point where they can kind of settle back. They know how the capabilities of everybody and what they need to do to get the job done, and it becomes more familiar with them. New coaches, new incoming players, a lot of young people, and hopefully they can kind of put it all together.
Mm-hmm. And yes, I think for North Mahaska, just kind of how to approach this night. This could have been kind of an experiment. See exactly what they're working with. I mean, these guys they've been working together all offseason with the new coaches, and especially in the preseason now with the last few weeks of practice. But there's only so much that you can do in practice, Tim, and it doesn't really prepare you for that Friday night environment.
Yeah, I mean, you can practice and practice and practice, and practice is obviously good, but I mean, even some of the great legendary athletes such as Allen Iverson will tell you, why are you talking about practice?
Yeah, exactly.
And you need those real in-game situations to figure out who you are and what you can do, and how you need to improve. And I believe that Coach Griffin will recognize that. They'll go back, watch film, and kind of change things up, see what plays seem to work for them, and really polish those up, make them even better. And then even their weaknesses, find those, and definitely work on those in practice this week, and come out swinging next Friday for their first home game.
This looks like North Mahaska, they'll have a lot of homework to do after tonight's game. They can, as the coach gets that all put into huddle, and as the coaches get that put into huddle and the kids are able to kind of view, their performance in this game. They can just find some good traction there, and yeah, they know what to work on. So that way, when they take the field next Friday, they know exactly what they need to do and things that they can improve on.
Yeah, it's always good. That's one good thing about the technological advances that we've had as far as filming and cameras in general go. It makes it a lot easier to point out those weaknesses and really help improve. Find what you need to do and get it done.
So North Mahaska, next week, will return home to the nest there, and they will see ways that they can capitalize kind of off of this week 1 performance. Coming in, it's kind of a blank slate. What can they do? What are some things that they need to focus on? But you can't really figure that out until you take the field and you get yourself into action there. But looks like next Friday, North Mahaska will be home against Belle Plaine, and that'll be parents' night. So I will be out of the office that night, but Tim Sterling will still carry his weight, and we'll have a substitute here in the booth, bringing you all the action and all the live coverage here from North Mahaska and the Warhawk football team. And something new also this year, Tim, that we've never offered in the past is MCG, the Mahaska Communications Group, offering their services now, a TV provider out of Oskaloosa, now offering their services in New Sharon. And one thing that they've done kind of in that support is they will offer a live streaming of the game. So if you have MCG, I believe you can turn into channel 12 if you're in the New Sharon area, and you can watch that game live on your TV. So you can still hear us jibber jabbering up here, bringing you all the audio, but the video will be something that is much more complex and a lot more detailed. So it'll start to look more and more like a broadcast every week.
Yeah, definitely. We're getting more and more professional. I'm sure we're still a little bit slacking when it comes to that, but the production is great. Everything's working well. They've done good to hook everybody up. Those people, those Warhawk fans, that sometimes things come up and you can't make it to the game. But they've done a good job of providing that service for everybody, and we really appreciate it. It does a lot for the Warhawk fan base in general.
Mm-hmm.
And now you don't have to listen to us run our mouths if you don't really want to, and you can watch the game. I mean, the voices will still be there, but just turn the volume down.
Yeah, you can watch the video. You can mute the audio, and you can turn on some Journey's End.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Sounds like a perfect Friday night.
Yeah, I'd listen to Journey's End up here too, but I got to talk. So, yeah, it really helps out. It's good. It's good for those people who don't want to listen to us and they want to just watch the football game for themselves. So, thanks to MCG for helping us out with that.
Yes, and just thank you to MCG for the support that you are offering offering your services now in the New Sharon area and bringing the North Mahaska home football games live every Friday that North Mahaska is playing there in New Sharon. Thank you to all of our sponsors there, American Family Insurance, Boyd's U.S. Cellular, East Market Grocery and Deli, Eye Care Partners in the Penn Central Mall, Hardee's, Craig Ford, Mahaska Health Partnership, Nutrient Ag Solutions, Oski Dental, Proline Building, Scooters, Style Me Crazy, and U.S. Bank. Without the support that you guys are putting forward, these broadcasts would not be made possible. So if you ever find yourself in the New Sharon, Oskaloosa, Ottumwa area, be sure that you stop at any of those local businesses and support them in return for their support to us and to the North Mahaska and New Sharon community. And again, Tim, thank you for joining me in this booth and for just bringing your commentary, bringing your color. And we are, on behalf of me and all the viewers, we are so grateful for the time that you take every Friday night to come and bring Warhawk Football live.
Thank you too, Jack. Thank you for choosing me because you do most of the work. I just bring the humor and give everyone a break from the constant action.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that opportunity. Helps me expand my horizons a little bit. And if you would have told me that you're a Colgate guy, I probably wouldn't have done this. But so thanks for holding that information until afterwards. So now I just have to stick with it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And even though your breath will never be as minty fresh as mine, it's okay. You know what? There are things that we can work through.
Yeah,
Just like North Mahaska has a lot of things to work through for practice next week. We got some things to work through, but I think that we came out on the other side and we're smiling big and clean.
Yep. Just like Jack said, just as the team has some things to work through, we will constantly get better. Don't worry about that. We are already pretty good, but it's the Mark Cuban said that all you have to do to be successful is to keep learning at your craft and always be willing to learn, always be willing to put in that hard work, and that's what me and Jack will do. And if you think it's good now, just wait till week 7, 8. The commentary is going to be incredible. It'll be like or not Joe Collinsworth. It'll be like Joe Buck, Chris Collinsworth, but just a little bit better. And yeah, again, thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to everyone who listens to Warhawk Football on the radio, whoever you are, whether it is family members of ours because they want to support us and what we do, or whether it's everybody in New Sharon. We really appreciate it. And yeah, it's just good to be here.
And as the great Greek proverb says, kind of in relation to this game tonight, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And I assure you listeners that you only have a week left until we will be live and back on the air. So until next